Hi there, this is Carson with Proline Range Hoods, and today we're going to dive into one of the most asked questions: how loud is my range hood, and how can I make it quieter? Let's start with a bit of honesty first. At Proline, our philosophy has always been about power and efficiency first. We engineer our range hoods to remove smoke, grease, and odors efficiently, but moving that amount of air requires a lot of energy, ultimately resulting in noise, but that is completely normal. However, you don't need to deal with a jet engine in your kitchen. Today, we're going to run through 3 live tests to show you how installation can change everything. All right, so we moved to our makeshift studio here to run these tests. We have our amazing Pro S Island installed here. And first, let's measure the raw noise with a decibel reader, which is just measuring the intensity of the sound coming out from the range hood. Right now, this hood has 0 ducting attached, as you can see. The air is being pulled in and dumped right back into the room here. There's no insulation, no buffer, absolutely nothing that can really dampen the noise level here. So this is the loudest that will ever really be. So let's run through the speeds and get the readings. So for the first speed, we're getting around 63 decibels. Speed 2 is right around 68. Speed 3 is right around 70. And speed 4 around 71 decibels. Pretty loud, right? That's raw motor noise. But nobody installs a hood like this. So we'll go ahead and add proper ducting and see what happens. Now, we've ducted it up through the roof, and in this example, we're using 10-inch rigid ducting, which is extremely important in any range hood installation. The reason we use rigid ducting is to minimize any additional drag or back pressure in the duct system, which if you compare it to flex duct, for example, which I have in my hands, you can see that the shape with all its ridges, bends, and corners actually creates more pressure and resistance, resulting in more noise. Now, we're venting it into open air with very little restriction. The duct acts like a muffler, so to speak, containing the air noise. So watch now and we'll see the numbers drop. Now it's important to note that our baseline is around 45 decibels with no talking, no sound here. So just as a baseline here for our examples, I'm gonna go ahead and push this to speed 1. So obviously when I talk, it's gonna pick up that noise, but this is hovering right around 60 decibels on speed 1. We'll go to speed 2. Right around 65 decibels. Go to speed 3. Between 67 and 68. And speed 4. Right around 70 decibels. 69, 70. Now, as you just saw, even at max power, we've shaved off significant noise by just containing the airflow within the duct system. Now, we can even add a roof cap, and you'll see that a properly sized roof cap doesn't add that much noise. So now with the roof cap placed on the top of our ducting, let's rerun through these numbers and see where they land. Between 62 and 63. Speed 2 about 65. 66. Speed 3. 67. And speed 4 right around 68. But what happens if you get the installation wrong? This is where most problems happen in ducting and in range hoods. We're going to simulate static pressure, which is caused by using ducting that is either too long, using too many elbows, or a roof cap that is too small. So in order to simulate the back pressure and resistance that we're discussing here, we've gone ahead and covered the ducting up top and we'll go ahead and run the numbers and allow you to see this visually. So this is speed 1. You're actually hearing the blower ramp up because it's trying to keep up, but there's a lot of resistance there. The decibel reading is between 68 and 69. We'll go to speed 2. Speed 2 is right around 69. You're actually going to hear it cap out here because in speeds 3 and 4, it's not going to be able to push the amount of volume through that duct because it's completely capped. But let's look at it. So it is hitting 70 here on speed 3. And speed 4 actually didn't get any louder. It's pretty much tapped. Speed 1 is now almost as loud as speed 4 with proper ducting and Roofcap. We've lost all our quiet performance simply because we've added that air restriction. That's not all though. There is another option if you're wanting to maximize the silence in your kitchen using what's called a remote blower. This is a remote inline blower. It's called an inline because it installs in line with your ductwork, usually inside your attic, crawl space, or between the ceiling joists. So we've gone ahead and got the inline blower installed, 1300 CFM, hovering right around 65. If you want this level of silence, check out our Pro V and HE series range hoods. These are perfect options for running these remote systems in your home. All right, so what did we learn today? If your hood is too loud, don't blame the motor immediately. Inspect your installation first, and remember that the hood will never be perfectly quiet. When you go to inspect your installation, here's the 4 things you'll want to look out for. First, check your duct length. The shorter your duct length, the better the performance will be. Number 2, count the amount of elbows you have. Every 90-degree turn adds resistance, and adding resistance adds more sound like we learned from our experiments. Laminar straight airflow is the key to a more silent range hood. Third, check the roof cap. Make sure it's not too small for the CFM. Using the right size roof cap prevents static pressure, decreasing sound, and the wider and taller the outlet of the roof cap, the better. This allows for a balanced exit of the airflow from the duct system. And fourth, check how many dampers you have. If you're using more than one damper, eliminate one of them. The air has to work even harder if you're using multiple dampers within your system. Then, check the type of damper you're using. If it's a heavier gauge damper, that will require a lot more force for it to open. Now here's where problems happen. Long duct runs, too many elbows, or a roof cap that's too small all create restrictions within your venting system. That restriction forces the blower to work harder, and that strain is the noise you don't want to hear. I hope you learned a bit more about how sound travels within a range hood and how to minimize any problems you might have in your setup. It's so important to install it the correct way first, so you never run into problems in the future. If you have any questions about which setup is right for you, give us a call or visit us at prolinerangehoods.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.